Hello and welcome to week 2 of AC1110 Accounting Fundamentals. Remember that the contact information is down here with the name, the email address, and the phone number. The email address is probably the best way to contact, the preferred way for most contact there. We also have the office hours here on Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific. These are not required. They're in a question and answer format. However, they're really good if you do have questions at that time. This time has been carved out for answering questions, and it does have a different phone number, so this is a conference call line rather than this line here. So remember to use the conference call line. If you're calling in at this time, you will have a conference call code here as well. And then if we need to, if there's something that we can go over together using screen share software, we have screen share software here so we can work over some problems in something like Excel or something like that. And if you did want to study with other students, I do recommend software that is similar to this. You can contact other students with the participants over here and send a Moodle message and exchange information. And then you could go into meeting rooms with software such as Skype or Join Me or Join.me or some software that can be useful to do screen share and group work in a classroom that is online as well. Going back to Moodle Rooms here. Also note that most of the problems are going to have an instructional video that goes along with it. Make sure to take advantage of those. If any of the links are slow or they're not popping up as you would hope, you could go directly to the website here. Most of the information is on this website under Charter College and Accounting Fundamentals. And if you want to see it on a phone or if it's still coming up slow, then most of them are also on the YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel generally works a lot better on different types of devices. So if something is popping up slow or not pulling up or any kind of link is not happening the way as fast as you would like, then I would try a different browser such as Firefox or Chrome. Then you might want to go to the YouTube channel and you should be able to find all the information here. You go down to under Charter College and we're in Accounting AC1110. And if you go through here, you should be able to find the thing you're looking for, any videos you're looking for. Most of them are uploaded here. You're going to have to search around a bit for them, but they should come up here on different types of devices. Going back to Moodle Rooms. Now let's scroll down to the current week that we are in, which is of course week 2. So we're going to take a look at week 2. The format will be much the same, so I'm going to scroll down. We are in week 2. Now, as we go forward, the format will look much the same, both in this class as well as in future classes, meaning we'll have the objectives up top. Then we'll have the topics, and then we'll have the lesson. So this is all informational information on what we will be covering. In this case, we're going to be covering chapters 2 and chapter 3 in the book. And we covered part of chapter 2 last time. We're going to continue on chapter 2 this time and start chapter 3. And then we're going to continue on chapter 3 next time. So chapter 2 is really where we are focusing at this time. It's probably one of the most important chapters, or if not the most important chapter in the entire book, because that's really where all the accounting transactions are at. That's us recording the normal transaction. We're going to do a lot of the same transactions we did in chapter 1. However, now we have debits and credits, which is the key tool that we use. Then we have our links here. So these are going to be links to instructional videos. Again, if they don't pull up as quick as you would hope, then I would go to the YouTube channel and you should be able to find the same ones. There will be some repetition in these. I highly recommend watching some of them over and over, especially like the building blocks of accounting, because those are going to be there all the way through, and we should be able to watch something like the accounting building blocks and basically be able to pick something up new every time from it. Look at it in a different angle, look at the puzzle from a different angle, and pick up some new information from those. So I recommend seeing those multiple times. Now, everything from the discussion forums down, this is where the actual assignments are. Now, you're not going to do everything in Moodle Rooms. This is Moodle Rooms. You're going to do most of the work in Connect. This is Connect up here. However, you want to check them all off within Moodle Rooms. Moodle Rooms is going to be your list of assignments. It's the best place to go and say, did I do that? Check it off. Did we do that? Check it off. And then verify at the end of the week in the gradebook, as we'll look at in a second. So from the discussions, the assignments, the quizzes, the homework, these will all be laid out in Moodle Rooms, even though much of the work will be in Connect. Before we jump into these line by line, let's take a look at what I would recommend the goal to be to pick up the most points possible. We want to get full credit on the discussion forums if at all possible. That's worth 21%. I would want 100% of the 21% because we have the most control over those. And then we have the second most control over the assignments and the homework. There's a lot of those, I understand. However, we want to pick up as much of the points as we can on those because we have the most control over those as well. We have the least control over the quizzes, midterm, and final. Quizzes, midterm, and final altogether represent 33% of the grade. So we want to make sure to take those, do not miss those, have all the resources available to take those, but make sure that you go into those with as big a point total cushion as possible by getting 100% on the discussion and as close to 100% on the assignments and homework as possible. So how can we do that? Well, the discussions first. If we go through the discussions, we break this down into its parts. Basically, we need at least 4 posts on the discussion. It will look very similar to the prior week. You'll note that I'm going to add a lot of more information in there so that we can get full credit on those. So the point of the added information isn't to intimidate people with a bunch of questions. It's basically so that we can make sure to pick up full credit by having at least 4 posts. Most people are going to need more than 4 posts because the discussion forums are graded a little bit differently in that they accumulate upward. So unlike a paper, we don't just grade the paper and you get whatever you get on it. Every post will accumulate until you reach full credit, which can be done in a minimum of 4 posts. However, if any of the posts are not great, then that just means we need to accumulate more with more posts. So a good post means that we're going to add content. If you copy and paste anything from Google or something like that, make sure to reference it so you're not plagiarizing. And then to make full credit on it, you really want to re-say it in your own words. Put it back in your own words, and that would be a good post. If you reply to someone else's post, you need to add more content other than just it was a good post. I like your post, that's fine. But you also want to put more content in it, new information, in order to get credit on those types of posts as well. So the assignments, this one's going to be in Connect. So this assignment is in Connect. If we go up to Connect, we want to go up here, and if we go into week 2, we will then see that assignment. And here's the assignment. Now, you may actually want to do the Learn Smarts first before the assignment, but this is the assignment we just took a look at. It's one of the longer assignments. This could be a very intimidating assignment. I recommend highly that you go into this paperclip first, download the Excel document. The Excel document does not need to be turned in, but it has a lot of information that can be used in order to complete this assignment. So if you open up this paperclip, you will then see this Excel document. It'll have 3 tabs: videos, example, worksheet. Videos will walk through the problem in Excel, not in Connect, but the principles are the same. The example will give you an example of a very similar laid out problem, and the worksheet will allow you to do it in Excel if you so choose. You don't have to, however, you could just do it in Connect. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So here's the problem opened up in Connect. If you scroll down here, you'll see where you input the data. So the data is here, and if we looked at the Excel sheet, where's that data on the Excel sheet? Well, you could watch the videos, and we can also go to the example tab. And for example, this first one, it'll look much the same. The input for this first journal entry, for example, will look much the same in that we're going to debit, in this case, cash for, in this case, invested $55,000 cash, and then we're going to credit or debit the computer equipment. So computer equipment, and in our problem here, we've got 25,000 rather than the example of 23,000, and so on. I'll let you finish that up, but then you can go to the next journal entry, and that will be very similar to the second journal entry here. So it's going to be a lot of data input, but you should have the resources to put in a lot of the data input. So don't get intimidated by this and not do it. Make sure to go and use your resources and pick up as many points as possible on that. So if we go back to Moodle Rooms over here, the next one, this assignment is in Moodle Rooms. So if you click on this and then download this worksheet, it'll be a much smaller Excel worksheet, which you'll have to work, and then upload here. There'll be a submit button at the bottom. You want to submit it here, not to Connect. Make sure to submit it here. If you submitted this same problem in the prior week to Connect, then just go back in there and submit it to the Moodle Rooms area. And that will be that. I'm going to go back up to the cookie trail up top, go to the week that we are in here. We are in week 2, and take a look at the next item. We got the quizzes. It's a little out of order than the prior week, but the quiz is up here. The quiz is in Connect, of course. Make sure to take that by the end of the week, by Sunday. We cannot generally make up the quiz even unless there's an unusual circumstance, and then you'd have to let me know on that on a case-by-case basis, unlike the assignments. So the quizzes, of course, are multiple choice. Make sure to pick up some points on those, at least, even if you do not feel ready to do them. Anything is better than a 0. So we're going to go back up here to Moodle Rooms. Then we've got the Connect homeworks. So here are the Connect homeworks, and they will be in Connect as well. So Connect is up here. Those are going to be these Learn Smarts. So make sure to pick those up. There shouldn't be more than, I think, 25 in these two in week 2. So once you're done with it, if you go back out of it and go back into it, you may have more questions that you can use for practice for the quiz. But just make sure that you're not thinking you have to do like 90 questions or anything. You only have to do 25 in each of these. Once you've completed those, then you can move on to whatever else you want to do, or you can go back in there and study for the quiz. Going back to Moodle Rooms, I'm going to scroll up and take a look at the gradebook. Gradebook is up here on the left-hand side. It's going to be this green icon on the left-hand side. Now, once week 1 has been completed, I have until Tuesday basically to populate the gradebook. And so, for example, in week 1, this dash will then turn to 100% because, of course, everybody's doing their best to get full credit on the discussion forums. And then we're going to go to the quiz. Whatever you got in Connect will then be populated here by Tuesday following the close of the week. And then in the assignments, same thing. Week 1 will populate. Week 1 will populate for the homework. And so if this dash turns into like a 0, what that means is the assignment hasn't been done, and therefore you want to see if you can go back in and pick up any late work. So what you want to do by Tuesday night is go in here and verify that everything that you checked off in Moodle Rooms that you know you did because you've been tracking it in Moodle Rooms and checking everything off has then been populated in the gradebook as you think it should be. And if you have any questions, then let me know after that point. Then you want to pick up any late work that you can, as well as go on to any new work in week 2. And any late work that you pick up, then I will then pick up again and grade on the next grading cycle. So at the end of week 2 will be on Sunday. I then have until Tuesday to populate the grades. I will then populate everything for week 2, as well as late work for week 1. Now, just realize that when you only have one thing in here, say you didn't do an assignment, and that's the only thing in here, that means that we're taking the average, basically, of all the assignments. So that means it's going to make your grade look very distorted. It'll make this whole section look like you got a 0 in the whole section, even though we have all these other assignments to do. So just realize that once you pick up the assignment, it'll look a lot better, and once we do more assignments, then that first assignment will be more diluted, meaning we're going to take the average of that assignment and the rest of the ones that you have done. So when we look at the first week, it could be a little distorted looking in that way. Keep that in mind. Let me know if you got questions on that. That's going to be it for week 2, so have a good week 2.